Hey guys, how are ya? Hey everybody.
I'm just, don't mind me, I'm just watching myself. Hello, gorgeous.
Let's switch things up. We were going to do something else for this video, but Richard Donner passed away last week, so let's do a little bit of a tribute, a little short video talking about his work. By the way, we've got Samantha Howson on the mic. Hey, Sam. Sam was on the show on Monday, Good Movie Monday, so go back and have a listen to that. But we're going to talk about Richard Donner, very prolific filmmaker, I think. Ben's not a fan of Superman. Let's just stop for a moment and think about that for a moment.
No, I didn't think the movies were any good. I didn't like them.
No, let's just talk about the first one.
You mean the first half? It's only half a film. It's a beginning and half a middle.
It's true.
And then the second half, I mean, admittedly, they could have brought Zod and stuff in earlier in the first one, but it's
still a groundbreaking film.
What, because of the flying scenes?
Yeah.
That's what they tell me.
I was actually going to
say the flying scenes. I've got a single reel Super 8 version of Superman. And so all it is literally is the flying scenes kind of just cut together in a jump cut. Like the story makes no sense.
Was the tagline "You believe a man can fly"? Was that the tagline for it?
If you say so, I don't know.
Hey, this is supposed to be paying tribute to the man. So let's talk about other movies. Goonies. Yeah, everyone loves the Goonies.
I thought I made it clear during the podcast that we were going to be talking about Maverick, but okay.
We can get there.
Goonies.
We can get there. Like Maverick is a few steps away.
Goonies, I've actually seen Goonies, so I haven't seen Maverick.
You've never seen Maverick?
Whoa, trigger.
No.
Like usually that's the reaction of somebody if you haven't seen Goonies. It's like Maverick, Oscar winner Jodie Foster.
And what's the who's the guy that was the original Maverick?
James Garner's in it.
Yeah, but he's a hanger-oner. Like
he's Maverick's dad.
He's Maverick Senior.
They don't have I think because you think he's dead because in the original Maverick TV series, it started off it was just James Garner and then they brought his brother in, Brett Maverick.
Yep.
Jack Kelly, and so the two would alternate. And after I think James Garner he had a lot of trouble with his back. But he had some kind of issue, and he left. He didn't leave. They just needed to give him a break, so they brought in what's his name? James Bond, the second James Roger Moore. Roger Moore came in,
third one,
and he's Bart Maverick, and they came up with like some really stupid reason as to why he had an English accent and everything because the other two are 100% American. And they're like they're riverboat gamblers who solve crimes in their spare time, like all good
Goonies
60s
like
TV
all good
shows.
Goonies do.
Like all Goonies. Goonies also solve crime in their spare time. They're treasure hunters.
They are.
They solve treasure hunting mysteries in their spare time.
Yeah, he made Goonies, I think, the same year as Ladyhawke. That was a good movie. You would love Ladyhawke.
I do love Ladyhawke. Have you never seen Ladyhawke? Matthew Broderick, Rutger Hauer, and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah. Came out at the same time like Willow. It was that kind of Hollywood trend of these, sort of not medieval fantasy.
Much better than Willow.
Yeah, it is. He's better.
But and the thing is, like, it's got a strong religious component to it, like the local. What is he? The bishop? What is that?
He's like a little. He's like a little fried duck kind of character.
Yeah, but he's like or the archbishop.
Yeah,
or something. He's not the pope, but he's pretty high up, and he's corrupt. And was it? Somehow, I don't know how does Rutger Hauer, they get the curse. So Rutger Hauer is like, he was the head of his guard. And he falls in love with Michelle Pfeiffer, who I think the priest had the hots for. And so somehow some curse gets put on them. And so during the day, Rutger Hauer is Rutger Hauer and Michelle Pfeiffer is a hawk. Oh, okay. Who rides around on his shoulder. And then at night, Michelle Pfeiffer is Michelle Pfeiffer.
She's a werehawk.
Yeah, she's a werehawk, and Rutger Hauer is a wolf. Yeah. And it's not called man wolf.
No.
It's called Ladyhawk. And Matthew Broderick is like a thief who kind of gets caught up with them.
Yeah. 85. I want to say it was the same year as Goonies. It was at 84, 85. Yeah, go on, do it.
Yeah, it's 85. I wrote it down.
Oh, there you go.
Just
someone's better at this than us. Well, what about The Omen? Like going right back, like would be what his third film, I think. But The Omen is. Do you like The Omen or The Exorcist better?
I feel like The Exorcist.
Yeah, I'll take The Exorcist over The Omen.
Okay, sorry, Richard.
Like until
Sorry.
until Sam Neill gets into it.
Oh, Omen
No.
3 is fantastic. I do love Omen 3.
I'm surprised it's. I mean, it's no Omen 2, but it is.
Omen 2. There
Omen
we go.
2.
There we go.
Damien.
On
Omen 2.
my wall of twos, which I'm very proud of. Yeah, no,
The son of
Omen's
the
a fantastic
devil.
film. The great story from Omen is the decapitation scene with David Warner's character have that sheet of glass. They're sitting at a cafe, and there's let's just back it up a bit and give a bit of context. Have you seen The Omen?
Yes.
Okay, so you know all about it. Think bad things happen when there's kids around, but there's a scene at the cafe where
Purely coincidence.
the
mate.
truck is coming down the hill, it stops, and a big sheet of glass flies off and decapitates this character. But
The original Final Destination.
yeah, exactly. But the studio, like for the ratings purposes, couldn't show blood on screen. So instead, they had the table with glasses of wine on it. So when the sheet of glass goes through, the wine goes everywhere, and it's like a big splash of red. It's very clever, and that was all Richard Donner.
Which is really weird because everybody knows that white wine is day wine and red wine is night wine. So it should have been white wine.
Man, that
Just-
movie's
I'm just
full of
saying.
flaws, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
Like,
Deeply flawed film.
man, he was a shit filmmaker.
And that's why Exorcist is better.
This is a terrible tribute.
None of our tributes are ever any good.
Yeah.
You must love Timeline. Let's just go right to the other
I
end.
do love Timeline.
Paul Walker,
Paul Walker and
Gerard Butler.
Yes, but I'm trying to think. Neil McDonough is the kind of the villain in it.
Mm.
I love Neil McDonough. Ever since Ravenous, I've loved Neil McDonough. And he's not even like a main character. Like he's a main character, but not really a main character. in
Ravenous has been popping up on my newsfeed on Facebook a lot recently.
I really have to watch it. I mean, you've worked with Guy Pearce. So did you ask him about Ravenous
No.
when you?
I did not speak
Just-
to him at all.
Oh, you kept your
Although
conversation
actually-
to neighbours only.
He
Well, she knew him as Mike. That's like
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
walking around saying, "Call me by Mike."
Or what's his name? What's that? What's the gender swapping one they did with Claudia Carvan?
Oh, blind.
That's on Amazon Prime. I think.
My blind date,
Yeah.
or no,
Yeah.
something like
No.
I
no.
know.
It's like
Enemy, something.
Yeah, it's the because it's like that and Paperback Hero always get mixed up with the titles, but the Paperback Hero
I
actually is about
literally
a
only
paperback.
just saw that. It's on one of the streaming services. It could be Netflix, but
They,
yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, but there's a lot of
It's on the screen. It's on the screen.
It's on screen, yeah.
It's on the screen.
covering me. I hope.
It will now.
Yeah. Don't worry, you'll be back soon.
You know exactly what
Yeah.
I'm gonna do.
This camera's not HD. Is it? It's not 4K. You can't zoom in with that zero loss of quality. You capture that and then meme it on the internet.
All right, back to Richard Donner. Back to Richard Donner. What are some movies he's done that like you don't think about?
Maverick,
The Toy.
the toy. He did Maverick. No,
Maverick. Maverick's not a very good film.
I'd storm out if I could get past. I'm trapped by my own fatness. This is outrageous. Do you have if there's a copy of it here, I'm going to put it on and make you both watch it.
I'd say there would be.
That's why I forgot that it's only alpha by letter, not I'm going to go through the whole M section.
Sabotaged.
Oh, it is in alphabetical.
Yeah, it's all the like A's together, the B's together, the C's together, but it's not like actually within the letters. Yeah, just because I pluck too many out and put them back all the time, and I move house a lot, so putting them back on the shelves is a bastard of a thing. I do have Maverick, but I hid it because I knew you were coming. I read online this week, last week, I should say, when Richard died, Smoke and Mirrors,
Yeah.
that,
Keeping that illusion
someone popped up and said that Conspiracy Theory is his best film. Discuss.
Wow. I mean, I've only seen Conspiracy Theory once, and I remember at the time it was shocking because Captain Picard is a bad guy, and it was Mel Gibson's playing like he's like on the spectrum somehow.
Big time.
And is it
Back
Julia
when you
Roberts?
could say the spectrum.
No, isn't that now? Isn't the spectrum now? Back then you would have said he's retarded.
Yeah, I was going to go there, but figured you would.
My name's Ben Helwig. I approve this ad.
Do you have a
I'm
favorite
going to get
Richard Donner
fired.
movie?
I'm going to get
I
fired.
haven't seen many, to be honest.
You're not going to get fired because the more offensive you are, the more I like you. But anyway, go ahead.
Not from the show. I mean from my actual job.
Yeah, don't give a fuck
From
about the show.
From real life. The thing that keeps me in, hoodies.
From real
Yeah.
life. Yeah, I haven't seen many. Goonies, obviously.
Yeah.
Is probably the one.
I've got to look him up because I did find it surprising. I actually
Lethal Weapon,
I
hello.
didn't know that he had
Lethal
directed.
Weapon, of
all
course,
4 of them.
yeah.
And he was like, we reported, we posted about this a few weeks ago that earlier this year he said that he was still making Lethal Weapon 5 and it was going to be called Final Weapon. No one believed him because he's like 90 years old, right? 91 years old. But he was saying that's going to be his like swan song. He's going to go out with number 5. And yeah, but I mean, none of us thought it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, Indiana Jones 5 is being directed by James Mangold, so anyone can pick up the torch and run with it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Piece of shit James Mangold never made a good film in his life. Yeah.
Whoa, that
I
was
see what
brutal.
No, I was just reacting to your well, if anyone could do it. It's not like he's won Oscars or anything. Like he's just some guy off the street they found. They threw a rock in Hollywood and went, yeah, you can direct the next Indiana Jones movie. There's no way it's going to be good or anyone's going to like it, so who cares? It's a cash in for the kids.
There's no aliens.
Yeah.
Then they're probably
Yes.
one
Don't go there.
But
I'm a big fan.
oh no.
the
Don't worry, people go there all the time.
yeah. Like I knew he directed Goonies,
Yeah.
and yet for some reason I also thought that Steven Spielberg directed it.
He wrote it.
I mean, he wrote it, but it's also because of the Cyndi Lauper music video when she's like, Steven Spielberg, how do I get out of this?
That's right.
And he's like,
Well, it was like
well, what you do is,
pretty much.
I don't know.
Everyone at the time thought it was a Spielberg film
Well,
because
'cause
Spielberg was hot. Richard Donner was who's Richard Donner? Like at that time in his career.
he'd only directed Superman.
No, but like I'm talking about like average moviegoers would
Yeah.
have had a clue who
Well,
he
Steven
is.
Spielberg was huge.
One of only 2 films that Spielberg wrote, I believe, which the other one was Poltergeist.
Which also, there's also controversy about who directed Poltergeist.
That's right. Yeah, there's no doubt somebody.
Joe Dante says that it's complete horseshit and it's 100% Toby.
Yeah,
So
a
does
lot of
Mick
people
Garris.
do. A lot of
Yeah.
people do. Yeah. Speaking of Mick Garris, friend of the show, Mick Garris, he directed the behind-the-scenes documentary for Goonies, which
I've
is
got that on a DVD.
well, you might have to go back and watch it with that knowledge in mind.
I got the DVD and I was so and it was one of the first DVDs I bought and it's got picture-in-picture commentary with all of the cast, like in a kind of
That's a good
like,
one. I've watched
auditorium
that. Yeah.
and stuff. And I put it on. I watched about 2 minutes of it. Now I'm just going to go back to watch Goonies. Good enough again.
Oh.
I just kept watching the music video.
After I just said that was a good one. It was a good one.
It is a good one. I just like it was one of those. Sometimes I like a commentary, and sometimes I'm like John Landis, and people are talking in the commentary, and I'm like. After I'm just like, just shut up, let me watch the movie.
Yeah, but I mean, by that point in
Just like
time,
listening to people talk
everybody
over it, like-
knows the Goonies back
Yeah.
to front. It wasn't distracting
I
because
mean,
we knew it back to front.
Admittedly, when I went to see Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, there were 2 or 3 teenage girls sitting behind me and who would talk the entire film. What they were saying was far more interesting than what was going on the screen.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good Spielberg connection there.
Charlie's Angels Full Throttle.
Yeah. Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
That's Steven Spielberg's goddaughter. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
After E.T.
He was in E.T.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's all. But I.
Whatever. Whatever.
How did he help?
What is it I say at the
How did he help her? She still had like major alcohol and drug issues. Being, so she had absentee actor parents and an absentee godfather who was more interested in playing with toys than helping out a obviously troubled young woman.
You just have like Ben's rant just flashing on the screen.
What is it I say at the end of all of these videos? That was a schmozzle.
Yeah, shambles.
Like before we wrap it up, anything we want to actually say that's nice about Richard Donner? Like, I think Lethal Weapon 4 is fantastic and probably the
Yeah.
best of the series.
I think he had a pretty good career. I mean,
an amazing career.
Yeah.
I didn't mind 16 Blocks.
Yeah, I was looking at that behind you before.
Or is it behind me? Is it?
It is.
Oh, Radio Flyer.
Yep, he's done a lot. Like he's
Scrooged.
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 So many people would say the ultimate Christmas movie. I adore that. Bobcat Goldthwait's in that. That's what makes it really good.
Yeah.
It feels like everyone's in Scrooged.
Yeah, yeah. Carol Kane. Anyway, and what other ones?
She is everybody.
Go through it. Because I'm not gonna put every poster on the screen like I usually do. Just...
Bronk. He did Bronk with Jack Palance, which may or may not have been a TV series. Inside Moves.
Yep.
With is it David Morse? I think David Morse.
David Morse is in that.
Yeah, John
Oh, yeah.
Savage, who I don't like.
I was going to say there was someone else that I couldn't name from Deer Hunter.
Yeah, John Savage.
Yeah.
The Toy.
Mhm.
With Jackie Gleason
Indeed.
and Richard Pryor.
Speaking of Jackie Gleason, I watched Smokey and the Bandit 3 on Blu-ray the other week.
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah, I saw you post about that on
yeah,
Facebook.
yeah.
I thought you were going to say you watched Nothing in Common with Tom Hanks, and I was like, good choice.
Tick turd. Oh.
The best of
This makes for
Sting,
riveting,
Fields of Gold from
riveting
1984.
viewing.
That was directed by Richard Donner.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough. Wow.
Clutch at straws, I can barely read.
So when you see Vale, certain filmmakers or whatever, do you say Vale or Vale? I say Vale, like Vale Richard Donner, but I've heard people on the radio say Vale.
Oh.
I don't know. I
Is
think
there
that's
a little umlaut thingy? What's it called?
Yeah, like an accent.
An umla.
Is it called an umlaut thing?
I don't
It's called-
know.
it's always called
Isn't an umlaut like the thing
Umlaut.
in the labyrinth where
Maybe.
there's an oubliette?
Uh,
He didn't direct that
no.
at all.
Was that Jim Henson?
Yeah. No, yes, and who wrote that? Terry Jones from Monty Python wrote that.
Right, and he did Dark Crystal.
Yes.
And he's also passed away.
Valet.